How much lower can Bitcoin fall? Many analysts agree that it is going lower. In this episode, we are going to discuss how much lower it may drift before finding support. You're watching the Bitcoin Minute. Welcome to the rabbit hole. To say that Bitcoin is in a downward trend and has been for the last few weeks is not a very bold statement. It's quite obvious. But is this trend gaining or losing momentum? It might seem as though we have possibly hit support by the likes of a green candle popping up and maybe the momentum to the downside is slowing. When we put up our first technical study, our Ichimoku cloud, you can see that Thursday we attempted to break out above and below the cloud and failed to do so. This was the day that a lot of analysts were saying Bitcoin has found a bottom, 65,000 was support that was going to hold, and then the German government came out, sold some Bitcoin, and the price fell lower than where it opened, but it remained inside the cloud. Now, on Friday, we finally had our first break beneath the cloud system, which in a downward trending market signals that that downward trend is strengthening and it gives it more credence. Some other studies that also indicate this is our Heikin Ashi. As you can see, since we hit our high of around 72,000 on Friday, June 7th, we have been seeing nothing but red on our Heikin Ashi or Japanese average charts. And for the past 2 trading sessions, we have had decent body sizes. And that tells us it's not slowing down as much as it is remaining firmly in a downward trend. The lack of any upper wicks confirms this. Another simple study that agrees with this are moving averages. We have the 20-day exponential, we have the 50-day simple, and the 100-day simple. Now, not only is the price beneath all 3 of these averages, but we just had the 50-day cross above the 20-day exponential. Whenever we get a shorter-term moving average crossing beneath a longer-term one, that is a bearish sign, further strengthening our claim that Bitcoin's downward trend is not yet over. So where can Bitcoin possibly find support at? For that, we're going to do a couple fib retracements. Take our longer term retracement from about 38,000 to the all-time highs, and then we're going to make a shorter retracement from the all-time highs down to 56,500, the low that we hit right after the May FOMC meeting. There's a few harmonics here. And interestingly enough, when Bitcoin broke beneath the cloud formation was also the same day that Bitcoin had a clean and clear breakout beneath our first harmonics. The harmonics is made up of a 23% retracement of our longer data set and a 50% retracement of our shorter data set. I believe pricing is headed to $60,000, where we have yet another harmonics. I believe that we are heading at least to $60,000, quite possibly a little lower. I think it's also very important that we take into account where we are in our current 4-year cycle. For that, we're going to look at a monthly chart, and we are going to look back at the previous halvings just to show you where we are in our current timeline. Realize we are just in our second month after the halving, and Bitcoin tends to peak anywhere from 12 to 18 months after a halving event, and it's not until approximately 3 to 6 months in which that parabolic rise begins. With that being said, we should expect a continual decrease before we start seeing Bitcoin begin its parabolic rise to its cycle top. And once initiated, that cycle top will be hit approximately a year after the parabolic rally begins. We are in our second month after halving. We still have at least another couple months before we see our cycle rise in a parabolic fashion. I'm going to leave you with that food for thought. I will talk to you next week. This has been Joseph Wagner, the Bitcoin Minute.